No, I'm married.
Hi, Ron.
How you doing?
No, I'm married to a Latina, so.
Ah, right.
But 125 is just the warm-up.
That's foreplay, yeah.
Foreplay.
Sorry, Ron. You entered this conversation to rather.
Yeah. Paul was boasting about his prowess.
Yeah.
And then he deflated us by saying he passed out
Yeah, and I
That's
did.
right.
halfway through the process.
Yeah, I woke up 5 days later. So what can I say? What can we say?
I've had a few of those, Paul.
Yeah, he's taking those low blood pressure pills.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Well, have you guys seen have you seen a picture of Julie and I, my wife and I? We've been together a long time. She's you guys, you'll meet her. You'll really like her.
Yeah, I'd like to.
She's a real sweetheart.
How long you been together, Paul?
Here's a picture of us right here.
If he's put up with her for all this time,
Well, no, Julie and I've been together for
20 years
we're on
anyway,
our
right?
second. We're on our second marriage. We've been together 16 years.
Yeah.
My wife and I are together almost 40.
Julie still looks like she's in her.
she's a teenager.
Yeah, she does. I don't know how she does it. She's 53 years old. She's had 3 kids, and she weighs her high school weight. I don't get that.
I don't either. I sure as hell don't. I sure as hell don't.
I blew my high school weight about 2 minutes after high school.
Well, I'll tell you, my wife had to go for a checkup today because I don't know if you know. I think I've mentioned this before. My wife had serious bowel cancer, and had to have a whole bowel removed, etc., etc. And this was a few years ago. But she had to go for a checkup today, and she was exactly the same weight as the day we got married.
Oh,
And
wow.
in fact, she'd lost a little bit of weight, and she isn't heavy at all. So she was very pleased, as you can imagine today. Her blood pressure, which was
eating her, which is rotten for you.
Right.
this is right, yeah.
Well, I've seen this picture.
Have you?
Yeah. Julie's way prettier than you are.
Oh, no question about it.
Oh, I see. I've just opened the picture.
That's my wife. You'll like her.
Hold
She's
on
got
a second. I'm
she has
opening it now myself.
She has a great personality. That's the best part about it, you know?
That's what makes
What's up with you is it's fantastic.
Yeah, you wouldn't... And I agree with that 100%, because, I mean, I am who I am. I can't change myself.
No. All of us, and the sooner you recognize and realize it, then the happier you'll be.
Yeah.
That's right.
Like,
I
this is
agree
it,
entirely.
buddy. This is all it comes.
This is me. I is what I is.
Yeah.
I am what I am. And
That's
I am
right.
what I am. I'm Popeye the Sailor Man.
Like I was talking to Ron Cormanic, and I said, Ron, you know, you really are a very nice guy, but you're kind of a loner, aren't you? And he goes, yeah, I don't have a lot of friends, Paul. And he's like, I consider you one of my friends. And I said, well, I am your friend, and you know that when I'm your friend, I swear to you that you can count on me if you need me to do something for you. And I said, and you're a nice guy, but you also have a devil inside you, don't you? He goes, I do. That's why I'm a trial lawyer.
Paul, I just looked at the picture. I don't know how you deserved a girl like that.
Yeah, me neither.
I don't know.
But you know, he says, I said, I don't know anybody that's tried cases that it doesn't have some kind of a devil in them, because at some point, if you're going to be a trial lawyer, you do it more than once or twice or 3 times, you're going to have to learn how to stand up to judges and juries and everybody else that comes after you, especially if you start doing stuff like I've done in the past, where you fight with the government all the time. You know, and I can't even tell you how many times I've had the Secret Service or the FBI, you know.
Well, they're bigger than you are.
Yeah.
Period. End of story. They are the ultimate.
Yeah. I mean, they would.
You just can't. You're better to fold up your tent and say, you know, goodbye, or take them on full breadth and then bring the whole nation with you.
Well, I've had my fights with them, and you know, and then they went after me. I mean, it's like, come on, guys, you can't play that way. You know, you can't.
Yes, they can.
No, they can't.
There's a vengeance in there, isn't it? And that's unfortunate. But of course, they play
Well,
on that. They play on that.
that's why Paul was a guest
Indeed, which I fully appreciate. And
There's no question that's why he was a guest.
Yeah, we had a deal called Operation Debt Relief that was personally signed off by Obama, and they took $1 trillion out of the account that I was the attorney of record on and in charge of, and they didn't tell me, and we got in a huge fight over it, and I took that account away from them, and I made Janet Louise Yellen terminate the bank documents. They had written $2,500 million checks off that account.
Jeez.
And I made her void them out. And
Janet Louise Yellen.
And two.
Now, are we connected here? Are we in the right places?
Hey, and 2 months later, I got indicted.
Yeah, strange. How strange. Yeah, that's purely coincidence. I think you're just being a little bit cynical there, Paul.
Yeah.
When the FBI
it was a country club he went to as well.
When the FBI came to see me, I go, "Are you freaking kidding me?"
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right, but it's vengeance, isn't it? And because they play on that, don't they? Yeah, that's exactly what they play on.
Well, you don't want to be on the wrong side of Clinton and Hillary.
Oh, no.
Bill and Hillary.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if you are, you don't want to cheat on your taxes.
Actually, do you know that with Hillary or with Bill, you can buy him off?
Yeah, but not Hillary.
He's a whore.
Yeah. Yeah.
He is. He is.
Yeah.
You actually can just buy him off. He doesn't make any bones about it either. And like on that one project that I just told you about, we had to hire a lawyer to meet with him because he wanted to know what his take was on that deal.
Really?
And this was in July of 2010.
We were just talking about that today, Alan, only out of this country.
Yes, that's right, we were.
Yeah.
Well, they have a foundation called, just a minute, and how do you spell Lichtenstein? L-I-C-H?
Lichtenstein.
Enstein.
EIN, yeah.
They have and they have the bank account at 3 different banks in Liechtenstein for that foundation, and they wash the money through Iceland to those accounts, and those are the accounts.
And that's why Iceland went down, right?
Yep.
That's right. Reykjavik was a centre for things like that. That's right.
Yeah.
I'll send you a link to a film about that whole exercise.
This is where but this is where all these guys were taking their payments out of that foundation.
Yeah.
Bush, Cheney, Obama, Clinton, all of them. Even the director of the FBI, Warner. Yeah, crazy. And
Well, Ron and I were talking about it earlier. I did a lot of business in Russia, and particularly with oil fields. And you wouldn't believe.
Did you see Putin at the closing ceremonies yesterday?
Yeah. Yes,
he didn't look very happy.
No, he wasn't. This is true.
He should be happy. He siphoned off millions of dollars to a Swiss
Well,
account.
$50 billion. Do you think there's a little graft in that? Maybe 20% went somewhere?
Yes.
Maybe it's probably like
to his account.
well, let me tell you what the latest is. Ron
Yes.
talked to Bruce just a little bit ago, and he talked to David as well. And what they're telling us is that these funds were going to be into the Genesis account in London, and they don't really know which bank yet because the buyer hasn't decided which bank he's going to put it in. The buyer currently has the money in Germany, and if you back up for a minute, I'll tell you a little bit about that. But the funds are being moved from Germany to that account, and it'll be in the Genesis account. He said Wednesday, maybe Thursday at the latest, but he said that we should be prepared to go to London by Thursday so that we can pick up our funds. And our funds, we're being paid $1.6 billion for the bond.
Right.
But we're being paid in euros. So you back the dollars down to euros. So it's about €1,165,000,000 as of the conversion rate right now.
Yeah.
And we split that with Natalie.
137.
Yeah,
137.
so at any rate, they said that these funds are funds that are coming from trade profits, because these buyers had this money for about a month or month and a half, and they started trading, and that's why the date kept moving, because these are profits coming off the trade, and those profits have to be put back into trade for projects, but this is the free cash they're using us to pay it with, because our money is net to us, and it's supposed to be unrestricted.
Okay. Okay, that's good. That makes sense. That doesn't come as a great shock, I have to say.
Right.
There's only one thing I don't understand. If they're putting it in the Genesis account, how could they not know what bank it is? Because Genesis would have to know to open up an account there.
Now, we've done that plenty of times. We got a trading account, Ron. We open accounts all the time, stick money in it for clients. And then they've got to go into the bank and put their name on the account and bring their cards.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure that's what they're doing.
Yeah, that makes
Who's
sense.
going to be there representing Genesis, Paul, do you know?
No, somebody's going to go over there on Wednesday or whatever, Thursday, and then Genesis will, we have to go in, and he said you have to go in and sign for the money, but we don't want to sign for the money in England. We just want them to wire our money to
a neutral account that can be
well, we want to
distributed.
send Julius Baer, that way we can take it into
Yeah, right.
We only pay one tax, 19%.
Yeah, makes sense.
You know, we don't want to pay UK tax and then Singapore tax too.
No, I agree. Makes no sense.
Right, so we're going to have...
And I suggest for us, we do the same damn thing. Bring it to Singapore.
Yeah, you don't... Well, Singapore's got a 19% tax.
Yeah, but that's better than anything close to here.
Yeah. You could... And
it's tax paid at that point.
If you got an American passport, which Ron does, but you two don't, or you guys got other passports...
Yeah.
They'll open a bank account for you there in Singapore at Julius Baer and put your money. For Ron and me, guys, Americans, we have to put it under Amber Gold's account, because the banks in Singapore and the banks in Hong Kong right now will not open an account for an American.
Okay. Mine's slightly different, because this money is coming out of the UK, and I'm a UK resident. I get looked at differently.
Yeah, you got to deal with your own, but this is...
What I would do, for me, I would have it simply transferred, or a part of it transferred direct into my UK account. And
why take it though? Why take it? Why not take part? Take payment in Singapore.
But he may have that tax whether he takes it in Singapore or UK.
Makes no difference.
They get double taxed. Yeah.
I do, and that's what will happen. So it's no point in doing that. Not only that, there's just been a piece of legislation passed only today in the UK, whereby anybody who is seen or thought to be working with a tax avoidance scheme, which means that they don't pay UK tax, will get their tax and a fine equal to the value of the tax.
You better not fool around, Alan.
Yeah,
I'm not going to do that. I would just put it in the UK account, pay my tax, end of.
Yeah, well, that's true.
It isn't worth, because it'll just get frozen, and all things will happen. So from my point of view, I'll just have it transferred into my UK account, end of. And leave it at that.
Well,
and live with the tax.
It's just a matter of dealing with your tax advisor.
Indeed.
I don't make that decision.
No, I've already done some homework on this, and it just isn't worth it. It just isn't worth it. So that's what we'll do. But so Ron's got to make a provision to be in London Thursday, has he then, Paul?
Yeah, well, I'm not going to send him until we know for sure that's the day, because I don't want another New York.
Yes.
You know, where they go sit there for 6 weeks waiting for money.
Yeah, I agree with you. No, I agree entirely. But at least it's looking a lot more positive now, and there's a bit more detail coming out. And having this money for the last month and putting it into trade doesn't surprise me at all.
No.
And I'll be truthful with you. I had a conversation with Abdul a couple of 3 weeks ago, and whilst he doesn't know anything about this particular deal, because there's no reason why he should, he made exactly the same point, that this money is free money in real terms.
Exactly. It is.
And it's perfectly true, and that's what we've all
I think a
expected.
month
So
ago. I think a month ago we all said they were taking the money and they were going to put it
Yeah.
into trade.
exactly right. So,
Which
doesn't
is
cause
the
what they,
bonds.
yeah, and it's what they did, Ron.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not surprised, and they're going to do exactly the same on the remainder as well.
I think so.
Yeah, I think so.
And so are we.
Yeah, indeed. Why not? Why not? Well, the point is very simple. You know, I've always said that yeah, I'd take some, and then I'm happy to put some into Amber Gold and do the same.
Yeah,
But-
I mean, like we were talking, Ram and I were, the only thing that makes sense with any of this is that we trade it and make additional money, you know, because if not, your limitation on it is you know, could be eaten up in the tax side of it. You know what I mean?
Oh, without
Sure.
a doubt,
Sure.
without a doubt. So I think what we would do then is we get this thing, put this one out of the way, and do with it as we wish.
Then the
Then-
27,
Yeah, and then then on the 74,
yeah,
we need to meet. We need to meet quite quickly, put a strategy together as to how to properly invest the 74 money.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So I think that's good. But I think that you know your update you've just given us is very positive, and at least we're getting some detail and there's some credibility coming out of it now, and it makes sense. So does Bruce sound fairly confident that this will happen this week now?
Well, I mean, that's the same question I asked Ron, and Ron says, well, he doesn't sound any different to me.
Yeah,
Just
that's
another day.
encouraging. That's encouraging.
just
But-
another
And
day.
he told Dave Finkel's client the same thing?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I know he's not going to fool with him because of the FBI connection.
Yeah, this guy, Dave
That-
Williams, Dave Williams is the client that's got this FBI connection, and
Yeah.
apparently he drives him crazy.
I can imagine. Well, that's good. I mean, I think that's very positive, and I think that on that basis, I'm sure that we can. This week looks as if it could be a very, very interesting week now.
It could.
Yeah, indeed it could.
Yeah.
And I think that it'd be interesting to see what he comes up with tomorrow. Because obviously, if are you still planning to send Ron and Lee to London? Is that the plan?
Well, if Lee doesn't have to go for the 74 bonds, it doesn't make sense to send him.
I agree, and I would be surprised on the 74 because I mean, as you know, Paul, when I spoke with Ram earlier, and I'd spoken with or got the update from Abdul, he is telling me that the next two bonds which will be chosen for completion will be decided, if not today, then most certainly tomorrow, and then they're doing two more and then two more. So I would be surprised. Types of, yeah. I would be surprised if the 74 are ready for closure yet.
Yeah, me too, to be honest with you.
Yeah. But what's interesting there is though that we can then use the farmers' bond money and do whatever we want to do with that, whatever we want to do. But then we can sit down and put a plan together for any proceeds that certainly I receive from the 74 will be put back into trade through Amber Gold, and we all benefit.
Okay, well, we'll take one step at a time and just
Indeed.
let's get the money first.
Let's get this one first. I agree. Let's go for this one.
I'm going to talk to you also, Paul, about Amber Gold and how I want to work it. As I've mentioned, I need some immediate money
Yeah.
to take care of some stuff. I can talk to you about that, and I want to talk to you about the rest of the investments as well, because Alan speaks highly of you, and I would probably, my son and I would probably put our money as much as we can into the Amber Gold.
Well,
LLC.
to be honest with you, what we really plan on doing is after we start getting paid on these funds, is opening these bank accounts in your own name so you can trade it. Unfortunately, right now, Americans can't trade in their name. So, like even I have to let it all trade in through Amber Gold myself,
Mhm.
and I just have them pay me the profits off of it, my share of it.
Okay.
And but for Alan and Jack, who have non-U.S. passports, we could eventually get them into their own trading account with their own with their, you know, and they can just deal directly with the bank.
Well, one crazy suggestion is, Alan, you could put all of it into Amber Gold and then have distribution through Amber Gold.
Yes, we do that.
And then what happens is that you're not paid until you're paid from Amber Gold.
That's an option. Although I think in this case, because I have some commitments as well on some projects that I'm working on.
But you can take the first draws that you need,
Yeah.
the capital that you need from Amber Gold. But the capital that you don't need immediately, you can have from Amber Gold, right? Amber Gold can trade it. Anyway, I'm just thinking of easy ways of dealing with it.
Yeah, I'm open-minded.
I'd be able to do the same thing, Jack?
Yeah, exactly. And I think that might be a way around the issue, and a truthful way around all of this when does it land stuff.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Because you're not taxed, until it lands, you're not taxed, right?
This is true. This is true.
I don't mind paying the tax on mine. I just want to make sure that.
No, I don't mind paying tax at all. In fact, the safest way to sleep at night is pay your taxes.
Absolutely.
Without a doubt.
I just want to expedite getting the money in. That's
However, it's your right to mitigate them.
Right. Okay.
I think that
to be efficient with it.
Yeah. I think what we need to do is get some thought and let's see what happens tomorrow and get some confirmation that this money is being transferred into the Genesis account.
First things first. Right.
And then we can make some really rational decisions based on that.
Yes.
And go from there. Because we still don't know from our point of view what intermediary fees that Genesis are paying anyway. So we have all those things not to contend with necessarily, but to work with, so that we know exactly what's happening.
Exactly. But all this will start, I think, falling into place as soon as they get their money. Well, it's got to fall into place when they get their money.
Indeed, I agree with you. I agree. Now, let's face it. The answer to the question very quickly could very well be that the Genesis pay whatever they decide to pay. It may be the 1%, who knows? If it is, then that's fine. If it's less than that, and we have the agreement with Amber Gold, then that decision's made for us anyway, because that money is actually within Amber Gold.
Yeah.
So we have all those options open, which will open up for us.
First things first, see what happens.
Yeah,
exactly. So that's the way I would play it. We have a way to go yet.
The other thing is, they told us today, and I forgot to tell you this, that the bonds have been taken to Atlanta. There is a closing agent in Atlanta for the buyer, and when they get or the money into Genesis account, then that closing agent is turning the buyer or the bonds over to the buyer in Atlanta.
Not in London.
Right. Not in London. But they gave it to a lawyer, an outside law firm, to handle that part of the transaction for Genesis.
I see. Okay. That's fair enough, because it needs to be a third party.
If it was something to me, I would have been happy to do it.
Yeah. They couldn't afford your fees, right?
Probably not.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I appreciate that, though, Paul. That's a positive update, and I appreciate the call. And let's hope that we'll see that everything starts to move tomorrow.
Okay, guys. I'll let you know what I know.
Okay. Really appreciate it.
Okay.
Thanks very much indeed.
Thanks for the call, guys.
Right.
Have a great
Bye-bye.
evening, everybody.
You too. Bye-bye.
Cheers. Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Cheers. Nah, it's not really complicated.